They said it was over for him. A 19-year-old Jalen Dawson, a kid from Eastbridge, who spent his afternoons helping his mom at the corner store, now stood in a courtroom packed wall to wall with reporters, law students, and the curious. The air was thick, sharp, like the moment before a storm hits. He wore no expensive suit. No fancy lawyer stood beside him. Just Jalen. A black notebook. And a confidence nobody understood. He was facing 5 years in prison for a robbery he swore he never committed. The prosecutor's evidence was neatly stacked: fingerprints, a shaky eyewitness, a grainy video. Every piece of it pointed to him, and everyone knew defendants like Jalen didn't win. They pled. They faded. They disappeared. But Jalen didn't come to disappear. He came to fight. The judge barely looked at him, leaning back, tapping his pen, bored by what felt like a predictable outcome. The prosecution smirked confidently, whispering to colleagues as though the verdict was already signed. Jalen remembered the night officers burst into his home. How his mom cried. How no one stopped to ask a single question. He had one choice: accept a deal for something he didn't do, or stand alone. And he chose to stand alone. When the judge said, "Mr. Dawson, present your defense," the room didn't fall silent. It held its breath. Jalen opened his notebook. The words inside weren't legal terms, not exactly. They were questions, sharp, surgical questions. He stepped toward the witness stand where the star eyewitness sat, nervous, fingers tapping the armrest. "You said you saw me in the alley at 9:47 p.m. Yes. But earlier, you told police it was past 10. Which one is true?" A ripple moved through the room. The witness hesitated. Stumbled. Sweat broke across his forehead. Jalen quickly followed up. "Streetlights on Maple Avenue, they were broken that week, right?" The witness blinked. I'm not sure. "So how did you positively identify my face, in the dark?" Whispers. Gasps. Even the prosecutor shifted uncomfortably. He wasn't just defending himself. He was dismantling the narrative piece by piece. Next, Jalen requested the footage, yes, the same footage the prosecution claimed was ironclad. On the big screen, a hooded figure ran across a parking lot. Same height. Same build. Same shoes. But Jalen pointed to something everyone had overlooked. He paused the frame. Zoomed in. Those gloves. Look closely. On the glove's palm was a faded logo. A hardware store logo that had closed down 2 years earlier. But Jalen knew more. He held up his hands, no glove marks, no fiber traces. And pulled out a receipt. A time-stamped purchase from the night of the robbery, from a store miles away. The courtroom shifted. Now the judge leaned forward. Now the prosecutor wasn't smiling. Jalen wasn't finished. He revealed something shocking: records. He obtained through persistence, late-night library research, and hours spent reading law on cracked public computers. The store that was robbed. Its insurance claim was filed before the robbery even took place. Fraud. Inside job. And Jalen was the fall guy. He turned slowly toward the prosecutor. "You built a case on assumptions. But I built a defense on truth." The courtroom exploded, loud whispers, rustling papers, disbelief. The judge slammed his gavel but his voice trembled. "Order. Order." For the first time, the court didn't see Jalen as a kid in trouble. They saw him as a fighter. A thinker. A voice the system underestimated. The prosecutor requested a recess. The judge denied it. Instead, he removed the charges then and there. Case dismissed. Record cleared. Jalen Dawson, free. The courtroom erupted in applause. Reporters sprinted to him. Law students stared like they had just witnessed the birth of a legend. But Jalen didn't celebrate. He walked to his mother, hugged her, and whispered, "We're going home." Within weeks, Jalen's story spread nationwide. Universities offered him scholarships. Civil rights groups reached out. He became a symbol, not just of victory, but of possibility. Because his story wasn't just about one trial. It was about how truth, no matter who speaks it, can shake walls built to silence it. Jalen Dawson entered court with no lawyer. He left as a reminder to the world. Never underestimate a voice that refuses to be silenced.